My name is Louis from Ebonivory, and I'm listening to Rhino Radio.
So today, again, through the magic of the internet, I have the honor of chatting with Louis of Ebonivory, all the way from Australia. How you doing
All
today,
the way.
mate?
Very good, my friend. Very good. Just came off the work day, so nice and relaxed for the evening. Obviously, it's a bit earlier for you, but yeah, right around dinner time now, so nice and relaxing for me.
Okay, and we are talking in the kind of run up to the celebration of a new album, The Long
Mm.
Dream #1,
Mm.
that's coming out this Friday, the 5th of June. I know it's a weird time in history and your days are a bit shuffled. How are you going to celebrate the release?
Well, look, I think in all honesty, with the amount of time that has been spent sitting on this album, I suppose, and like the amount of years that have gone into the production of this album, in all honesty, the celebration for us is really just going to be having it out there. Like, even the last 18 months that we've been playing some of these songs live, like the songs we've been sitting there for 4 years recorded, and some of them like the better part of a decade. So the sheer celebration of just knowing that it's out of our hands and finally out there is probably going to be the best celebration that we can have.
And I want to talk about the name of the album, The Long Dream. Can you specify a non-musical long life dream that you've been chasing for a while now?
Um, Look, in all honesty, I feel like the last 18 months has really been a massive tick off for so many of those dreams for me. Like, even just the amount of shows that we've been able to play in Australia, but obviously right now we would be over in the States playing with Caligula's Horse. But just the sheer idea that I could have even thought that I would have the opportunity to play overseas with another band that we've looked up to for such a long time, for that to have even been on the cards was like absolutely one of the biggest dreams of my life. So that's more than truly been ticked off, even in name.
What about something non-musical? Have you ever dreamt about being a professional fencer?
Um, Fencer, yeah. Look, my repay as far as fencing is not exactly what I wish it would be. Um, I Well, my other passion, I suppose, outside of the band is like alcohol and cocktails and stuff like that. So probably opening my own venue or something like that if the whole music pathway doesn't come up. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to find myself in a lot of jobs that have allowed for me to fully explore my musical career while still maintaining and holding a really nice career and um, a consistency with that side of my life and that part of my life as well. So that would probably be my other long dream if the whole music thing falls apart and everyone stops listening to music. But I can't imagine that's going to happen anytime soon.
So you're very often watching the Tom Cruise film Cocktail and just giggle to yourself.
Every night, it's my routine. I can only watch that to go to sleep. I won't sleep unless I'm watching Tom Cruise toss a bottle of vodka to someone next to him and then keep shaking. I don't know if I've ever seen Cocktail, but I've definitely seen that scene. I've got to add it to my list.
Something to do tonight.
We.
And if I'm not mistaken, the concept behind the album is about becoming an adult.
Mm.
When was the last time, or even the first time, that you felt like I am an adult?
Um. Wow, that's a really good question. The last time I felt like, well, if for a slightly boring answer, recently, probably in the last 2 months, I finally got along to signing up for private health insurance, and that made me feel like a bit of an adult. Like it's one of those things where I think I've been to the hospital once in the last 10 years, but I had enough niggling from the powers that be, being paternals and stuff like that, just telling me that it's something that's important to have, and I was eventually convinced of it, and then lo and behold, 2 weeks after I signed up for private health insurance, I ended up having to go to the hospital for some absolutely crazy stuff. So, divine intervention, might I say. But yeah, that was probably the last time I really felt like I was an adult.
Do you have a specific hob ring that you prefer?
Which one? Sorry.
One of the rings of the hob, the cooker.
No, I don't.
Oh, so you're not a professional adult yet.
No, I'm
What?
definitely not a professional adult yet. Don't worry, I'm nowhere near close to it. I consider myself an overgrown child in every single respect, by the fact that if I get really sick, someone will look after me.
And if I'm mistaken, most of the lyrics were written about 6 years ago, and there's also a follow-up to the album, so we're expecting the Long Dream number 2.
Mm.
Does that mean that the concept will progress? Are you gonna, is Charlie gonna write more about being like a grown adult, or about getting older, dying? What should we expect from the next chapter?
Well, most of there are definitely lyrical concepts that have been around for a while, but most of the music is usually what we've had sitting on for the most amount of time. Like there are songs like pretty much everything on the album except for A Color I'm Blind to, Hanma Street, Persist, and Blue Gums was written lyrically in the last 8 months. So usually our process is that we find the creativity in the music first and the instrumentals, and then the lyrics are something that ultimately are developed through that. So I think as far as even the Long Dream One is concerned, a lot of the lyrics are very nostalgic to us already and very retrospective because we look back on them almost like these last 4 years that we've sort of been sitting on this project have been years of dramatic change for all of us, like Charlie included, but definitely everyone in the whole band. And the lyrical content is sort of supposed to be us sort of nostalgically looking back upon those years and, seeing the growth that has occurred, considering the things that once were and the things that now might will be. I think the Long Dream 2 is probably going to be more of a discussion of the responsibility per se that comes with age and the things that maybe when we were first sitting down in a writing session to put some of these songs together for the Long Dream 1, ideas and thoughts and things that we held close that might not even resemble the things that need to be important to us now or that people might say might be important to us now. But I think as much as it is for someone listening to the album and definitely album 2 as well, it's as nostalgic for us to be able to listen to these songs, and even within the time frame with which this album was created to when it's coming out, look back on it and think, fondly and stupidly and every kind of emotion that you can upon you thinking about yourself a couple of years ago, because everyone thinks about that. Like, God, how many times has someone shown you a photo of yourself from 4 years ago and you just get the flashback of the person that you used to be? So I suppose to some degree that's kind of what we're trying to encapsulate in this album.
And it always feels weird to me speaking to a band just around the release of the album, but between knowing that sometimes there's already a new project being held and you're already writing the next album, maybe even done, or the fact that I'm just an eager beaver, what can we expect from the future of the band? I mean, we know that we're expecting the Long Dream 2, but how close is that? And what are you planning for once we're free to roam the streets again?
Look, we're the Long Dream 2. It's imagine that anything that's falling under the title of the Long Dream was recorded in a singular session. Like all of the music, exclusive of some lyrics, is there and recorded and ready to be sent off to be mastered for Long Dream 2. So the turnaround for that album is definitely going to be far shorter than the turnaround for Long Dream 1. Um, I don't know what the plans are going ahead. Like we always have ideas and we always are looking for what it is that the next thing's going to be. I think for me personally, and I know I can speak for at least a couple of the guys in the band, I feel like the next step is to try and involve ourselves with someone beyond the band and sort of get that next phase of someone having some input and some opinion upon the creation of the music. Like even in this album, working with Forrester Savell as far as the mastering is concerned, who obviously has made an incredible name for himself amongst the progressive music scene through Carnival and Dead Letter Circus and stuff like that. He just working with him in that very minor level as far as the creation of the album was concerned was absolutely incredible. Like the things that he had to say and the effort that he put into the music and the work that he put in to give us as many options as possible as far as that finished product was concerned was incredible. It was absolutely amazing. And I think maybe if we were to organize to maybe work with someone like him in the future from the start of the album, like even in the writing phase, and go through it with that person that is, you know, outside the band creatively, but has so much to give. I think that would be a really interesting way for us to go, especially considering that it's all self-produced at this stage. Like, to relinquish a little bit of that responsibility to someone else, I think it could be a very interesting and positive way for the band to go.
And can we expect more videos of you guys burning stuff?
100%. We are pyromaniacs at heart. I'll let you know, we never used kerosene to set things on fire before that video. And my God, kerosene sets on fire a lot. We were like, there's B-roll of it somewhere. I'll find it and put it up so that you can see it. It's like when we first set the room on fire, there was about 30 seconds we were like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Like, we were on the back of like, that shoot was 2 days, like 17-hour days with Dave Hunter, who is the loveliest man in the world. He's the drummer for Circles, who shot a bunch of our videos. And after 30 seconds of it being, the whole thing went up. It was like literally a 16-meter fire. This whole room was the most on fire I've ever seen anything in my life. It was horrifying.
And I want to touch on something a bit more serious. I know that 2019 was a great year for the band, and then 2020 happened, which is not a great year, I think, for everyone in the world.
Hmm.
Um, how is the band dealing with that? How are you dealing with all of a sudden being stuck at home or canceling, obviously, tours? You have the release in the middle of everything, but still, altogether, you're very confined in what you can do. How are you keeping positive in that situation?
Look, I think it's the same for a lot of people where it's just like as long as you put what is happening to you into perspective of the rest of the world, it becomes very difficult to be upset about your own situation. Like, I'd be lying to you if I was going to say that I wasn't wishing that I was in the States right now touring with Caligula's Horse. Like, it'd be amazing. But when you think about what other people are actually having to deal with overseas, and you think about how bad it is for so many other people compared to us just wanting to go play music in a room, like, I think it very easily puts it into perspective that we have it pretty good. Like, we're already at a state in Australia where we can catch up, we can rehearse, we can, you know, get together and continue to plan and continue to work on these things. Like, in comparison to what everyone else is having to deal with, our issues are so minor. And I think as long as you put that into perspective for yourself, it's just like, well, it's always going to happen, you know? If it's been lined up in the past, it'll be lined up in the future. We're not, we're just concerned with keeping the wheels turning and not making more of a stress about it than it needs to be, you know? There's a lot bigger fish to fry in the world at the moment, and I don't think our problems are at the top of anyone's list, which I think is important.
Thank you very much for helping us find that silver lining and opening up about that. I do appreciate that
No,
very
that's
much. I want to confront you with a rumor that I found online about the band. Your
Ooh,
fans are a bit, yeah, the fans are a bit scared. So you can either confirm or deny that rumor completely.
okay.
Fans are scared that the band are leaving the musical world and they're going into kids puppeteering. Is that is it something you guys are going into?
Look, I don't know about kids puppeteering, and I don't know how you might know this, but the original plan for the Tales of Terminator music video was that we were going to shoot the whole video clip as a band and then shoot it again with us holding puppets and acting out the same music video. And we did a bunch of research into it, and a really good marionette puppet costs like $1,500, and we did 5 of them, and it was just like, this is impossible, there's no way. And then we were like, can we make a puppet? And it's like, no, you can't make a puppet, there's no way we can make anything that would look good enough to put in a video. So then that was sort of where the idea for having everyone in the video strung up on strings came from. But yeah, it started with how'd you find out about the puppets? I didn't think anyone knew about the puppets.
I take my research very seriously.
I appreciate that you do. That's a great little nugget.
Okay, I want to take you to one final serious question. Um, with the riots or protests, whatever you want to call them, in the US. I've seen people quoting some bands. I've seen a quote of Rage Against the Machine about people that work in the armed forces, and they're also burning crosses. I'm guessing you remember that quote from Killing in the Name of. Do you
I
feel
do.
like music is required to take a stand, or is taking a stand and we need to utilize it more? Where is music in the political age of activism in your mind?
I think music has always played an important part in both activism and raising awareness for the issue of the common man and the people that might not have the voice large enough to be able to accentuate that struggle and that strife. Like Live Aid is a perfect example of that. That most of the people that would have experienced Live Aid, or the people that were there, or the people that were performing even, didn't have a single concept of what it would be like to be able to live in the position that the people they were raising money for did. And yet it gave a beautiful platform to be able to educate and to raise money and to, fund the help of people that a lot of those people might not even, relate with or understand the thing that they're going through. And I think the same can be said for now, that I personally, living in Australia, with a country that has had fairly strict, if not the strictest gun laws that are possible in a first world country since the Port Arthur incident. And I can't possibly understand what it's like to live in the States right now. I really can't. And that scares me a lot, but it also empowers is the wrong word, but it does instill a certain sense of responsibility, I feel, in those who have a a tiny platform for us, but for those that have the most enormous platforms, to be able to take their platform and educate and to inform and to let the people that follow them know that there is something incredibly serious going on. And if not to influence their decision, to at least inform them of what's happening in the world. I think that anyone in the artistic field, or anyone at all that has a platform with which to educate and to inform, are entitled to use that platform to help the people that support them understand what's going on. I think that's always been the case, and it always will be the case.
Louis of Ebonivory, thank you very much for sharing that. Is there anything else you want to say to fans and listeners before we say goodbye? Obviously, mentioning The Long Dream is out this weekend. Long Dream 1 out of 2, so we're expecting more in the upcoming months. So 5th of June, that's out. I've already had a cheeky listen, and I've enjoyed such a smooth album. Great stuff, especially for a cooking weekend. I really enjoy cooking to it. Anything else you want to say to fans and listeners out there?
Look, if there are any fans out there that are in the fortunate enough position to be able to help us out with a pre-order or something like that, we absolutely would appreciate it. But as I've said to everyone else in the last couple of weeks, we are the least deserving people of your money if you have money to be able to spend. There are a lot of people in the world right now that definitely would appreciate and could use your funds more. So even just to have a listen to it on the day that it comes out, or pre-save it on Spotify or something like that, it means the world to us. So if anyone out there could do that, we would appreciate it more than anything.
Louis of Ebonivory, thank you very much for your time. Been great talking to you.
And to you, my friend, thank you so much.
Okay, and let's again one more time mention The Long Dream 1 is out 5th of June, which is this Friday. So go and check it out. I've enjoyed it already, so I would recommend everyone to share that as well.
Thank you, man.
Okay, if you don't mind, I just want to ask for one and a half more things. If you can just introduce yourself and saying you're listening to Rhino Radio, so don't forget the name of the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Louis from Ebonivory, and I'm listening to Rhino Radio.
So it cut up when you said your name. Let me just mute my mic as well.
All right.